Xia Tian begins by showing a female reporter named Yoli, who tells a glimpse of her life in the past. Yoli is a smart reporter who always puts the truth first in every news she conveys. She said that she always delivered the real news based on the facts on the ground. Although Yoli also says that reality and truth are not always beautiful, and more often than not, they are cruel and painful. Several years ago, Yoli was assigned by her company to cover the news about a team of athletes running at Xinhua High School. The school principal deliberately requested the media office where Yoli works for them to document all the struggles experienced by the running athlete team at his school. The principal is trying to advance his school's accreditation, especially in obtaining achievements in the field of sports at the national level. Hearing this, Yoli prepared herself and gathered various information about high school running athletes who had won the National Olympics. Meanwhile, the principal is trying to find a good coach and talented students to form a running athlete team at his school. A few nights earlier, the principal had come to a pool hall and met a man named Gao. In his youth, Gao was a very talented runner and won many Olympic championships at the national level. However, after a bad incident that traumatized him, Gao decided to retire and quit as a running athlete. Now he is just an unemployed man who has no steady job and is only busy gambling. When Gao received an offer from the principal to become the coach of the high school track team, he immediately turned it down because he no longer wanted to be involved in the world of sports competitions, and he had been away from the field for quite some time. The principal did not give up easily and tried to persuade him to accept his offer as an athlete coach. The principal was sure that Gao still had talent in running because he had won quite a few competitions. Therefore, the principal gave him time to think about and consider the offer. That evening, Gao got a call from his wife's lawyer asking him to sign the divorce papers immediately. Gao's wife advised that she would take the case to court if he did not sign their divorce papers. It seemed that Gao was still not ready to divorce his wife and decided to hire a lawyer to help him. However, since Gao currently does not have enough money, he must immediately find additional funds to cover his attorney's fees. Gao then remembered the job offer the school principal had given him earlier and decided to take the job. The next day, the principal was seen chasing a boy who was trying to escape from the school. The boy managed to escape by climbing over the school fence. At the same time, Gao comes to Xinhua High School to tell the principal that he is willing to become a track coach at the school. Immediately after meeting the principal, Gao came to the school's sports training room to meet the students who would be trained as athletes. The male student who came first was a calm, bespectacled student named Zhao Bai. Seeing the disciple's style, Gao immediately doubted Zhao Bai and asked him if he could really run. Shortly after, another male student named Zhu Mingming came to the training room and introduced himself as a track team member. Mingming confessed that the school principal had forced him to join the running team. When he realized a camera was recording him, Mingming scolded Yoli and her camera crew for not filming in his direction. Yoli then introduced herself as a reporter sent by the principal to record all the activities carried out by the running athlete team at Xinhua High School. After that first meeting, Gao came to the principal's office to present his complaint. He was disappointed that of the 5 student candidates who would become members of the running athlete team, only 2 were present. This condition is not a good start for a team of athletes participating in a national sports competition. The principal then said that Gao was also in charge of gathering all the team members as a coach. He also said that it was difficult for him to find talented students willing to join the athlete team representing the school in the national championship. Therefore, the principal passed the responsibility to Gao. In exchange, he promised to give him a huge and special fee. After school was over, Gao saw a boy who was supposed to be attending a running team member meeting, named Xia Tian. Xia Tian seemed to be busy chasing a beautiful girl he liked, but the girl seemed to be bothered by Xia Tian's childish attitude. Seeing this, Gao advised Xia Tian that there was a better way to win over a girl. He then told him to come to the sports training room tomorrow morning and start joining the school's athletic team. In the evening, Gao pretends to order food from a school student named Yanlong, who is an apprentice at a fast food restaurant. Every time he comes home from school, Yanlong usually works part-time as a food delivery person at the restaurant. Gao then said that he would pay 3 times the normal price if Yanlong could deliver the food in less than 20 minutes. Hearing this, Yanlong immediately agreed and immediately set off to deliver the food that had been ordered. However, Yanlong's bicycle suddenly disappeared, so he was forced to run at full speed to deliver the order on time and get the bonus as promised. After the food arrived, Gao paid Yanlong the amount he had promised and returned the bicycle he had previously taken. Apparently, Gao was doing that on purpose to see Yanlong's sprinting ability. Afterward, he showed him a brochure from the sports academy that Yanlong had been dreaming of. Gao said that Yanlong had a chance to enter the academy if he had a track record of achievements in sports, especially in national-level competitions. He then offered him to join the school's athletic team and represent the school in the inter-high school race. By the next day, Gao had managed to gather 4 students to become members of the school's running athlete team, namely Mingming, Jiaocheng, Zhaobai, and Yanlong. However, he had to find one more person to join the team for their team to qualify for the national competition. That day, Gao trained them to run around the field and continued to encourage them to improve their rhythmic running speed. He also had to deal with Jiaocheng, who kept teasing the female students during practice. Meanwhile, Yoli and her cameraman crew recorded the running athlete team's training activities. The principal seemed pleased that so far, his plans had gone smoothly. The next day, Gao and his team continued their training. Gao once again used a trick to trick his students into increasingly difficult and intense training. That morning, Gao took his team members to a place on a bus under the pretext that they were going for a leisurely stroll. However, Gao then stopped the bus in the middle of the road and asked all his students to run back to the school. Yanlong and the others protested against Gao and said that he could only utter nonsense with no running skills at all. Hearing this, Gao became annoyed and immediately caught up with his team members by running fast towards the school. Meanwhile, Yoli recorded their activities from inside the car and installed a hidden camera in the car secretly. The next day, while Gao was having lunch by the roadside, his son, Bowen, approached him. Bowen then took the food on Gao's plate and said that he couldn't eat in the school cafeteria because he was saving his money to buy new shoes. He also said that his mother urged Gao to settle their divorce case immediately. In the evening, Gao goes to Bowen and gives him new shoes. He then asked Bowen to transfer to Zhenhua High and join the running team. Without hesitation, Bowen immediately agreed. A few days later, Bowen had officially transferred to Zhenhua High School and joined the running team at the school. The other members were excited and happy with Bowen's arrival because the number of their team members was enough to qualify for the national competition later. At the same time, Yoli interviewed Bowen, who was willing to leave a superior school to transfer to a regular school, and thought he was doing all that because his father had told him to. Bowen quickly denied it and said he had wanted to transfer to the school from the start. In the afternoon, Yoli came to Gao's house for an interview. Gao was initially reluctant to do the interview, but after learning that it had been approved by the principal, he was forced to do it. Yoli asked a lot of questions that were too personal and critical. Luckily, Gao was able to handle it and answered all the questions carefully. The next day, Gao began to teach about various strategies and techniques to be able to win the match. He also told all the rules that all students had to obey during the match. All the students looked serious and listened to his explanation carefully. In the evening, Yoli came to the restaurant where Yanlong worked to meet him. Yoli is interested in Yanlong's life story and wants to do an interview with him. The afternoon before the game, Bowen asked his father for permission to go with his girlfriend. Gao casually allowed it and reminded him not to come home too late. When Bowen was playing billiards with his friends, a group of young men all came and attacked Bowen for snatching a girlfriend from one of the boys. Yanlong, who happened to be there, immediately helped Bowen and defended him. After that, Yanlong and Bowen ran fast to avoid the young men's pursuit. However, Bowen and Yanlong couldn't dodge any longer as the youth surrounded them in cars. The boys immediately hit them with baseball bats. Gao, who happened to be there, immediately helped them. But the action of the youths continued until one of them hit Yanlong's leg quite hard. Shortly after that, the police sirens started sounding, and the youths immediately rushed to escape. Yanlong's badly injured state worried Gao because tomorrow was their match day. On the next day, a running competition between high schools will be held. On the bus, Yanlong asked Gao to inject drugs into his leg so he wouldn't feel pain and could participate in the match. Hearing that, Gao immediately rejected it because it was against the competition rules. However, Yanlong persisted because he had no other choice and they had no substitute. At the same time, Yoli got into the bus and watched all that. Yoli tried to stop Yanlong, but he ignored her warning. Moments later, the running competition started. The team from Zhenhua High used all their abilities and strength to reach the finish line. Other friends also support them and give encouragement. After a very difficult struggle, the Zhenhua High School team finally won third place and made it to the final round. In the evening, the friends of the Zhenhua team members held a party to celebrate their success in winning the competition. They eat and have fun because this is one of the great achievements for their school. But all the fun ended when the media from Yoli reported about Gao being accused of harsh and inhumane training to the athletes. The principal and all the parents who attended the party immediately scolded Gao and slapped him. The next day, the principal intends to resign from his position as principal because of his guilt towards the students. Zhaobai, Mingming and Jiaocheng were deeply saddened by all the misfortune that had befallen their team and their school. All the hard work they have done so far has been in vain because of the bad news made by the media. A few weeks later, Gao, who had given up coaching, was now working as a waiter at a pool hall. The principal, who had learned of the real situation, asked Gao to return to being a coach at Xia High School. The entire running team also helped persuade Gao to return to coaching them. They realized that Gao had pushed them to work hard to achieve their goals and wanted him to complete his mission. Yoli, who has now moved to another place, decides to write a novel based on the story of Gao and his team members. But in the story created by Yoli, she erases all painful realities and replaces them with more pleasant fake events. That was certainly different from what actually happened to Gao and his team. Meanwhile, Gao and his team trained harder and corrected their previous mistakes to give maximum performance in the final match. All the hard work and hardships they went through finally paid off when the Xia High School team was declared the winner in the final match. Then when Yoli held an autograph event for the successful release of her novel, Gao also attended the event. He bought 5 books to give to his students who were described in the novel. Gao then told Yoli about what had happened to him and to all his students. Gao is still a running athlete coach at Xia High. Zhao Bai has become a successful reporter. Bowen moved to Beijing. Ming Ming has been accepted as an employee at a private company. Xia Cheng has gone to America while Yanlong is struggling to take his college test. Hearing this, Yoli seemed guilty because her ambition to broadcast news factually without considering the feelings of the source had caused many children to lose their dreams. To make amends for all her mistakes, Yoli then told the story of the Xia High School team with a broader perspective and showed the persistence of each child in achieving their dreams. The moral that can be learned from this movie is to be more considerate to others and not to ignore the feelings of others just because we are concerned with our own goals or personal interests.